seeing EG, seeing Wings play on the new patch is going to be exciting.
I really can't wait. And, you know, it's not just about the picks that we see, although that one is definitely reminiscent of what we saw in other patches out of Evil Geniuses, but it's also just map movement and the way they want to address the game. I can't wait to see how it goes, but early bans coming out, first of all, I don't want to put you on the spot with, is there anything that you're going to expect to see, but do you think that it's going to look different the way that they're playing compared to some of the other teams that we've watched, or do you think it's going to look somewhat the same?
I think it'll look very different to what other teams are doing, but it might look similar to what EG and Wings have done themselves in the past. Wings, Visage, do they get the Drow as well? We saw one Drow Visage game. It's one of those things where there's like a couple different approaches you can take to a new patch. You can say, hey, look, let's just keep trying the strats and stuff we were doing before and see if it's still good on the new patch. Or you can say, screw it, let's try start fresh from like basically use it as like a blank slate and start from like square one and just say we're going to learn everything from the get-go as far as strats go. And I think for teams like EG Wings, they're always going to want to try and stick to and try out some of their old proven strats and make sure that their old picks they used to play, see if they still work. I mean, the first pick IO has always been a go-to for EG, so it looks like they're thinking like, let's at least play the same heroes to some extent that we used to, and then just change our playstyle as needed.
Yeah, well, and I think that, you know, off to a great start. But that being said, we do have Wings Gaming picking up the hero, to what me at least feels like, of the patch as far as first picks are concerned, Visage. We saw some shenanigans in the last one. Do you want to give a little bit of a recap as to what it is that just makes this hero so strong with the changes he's gotten?
The big one for me is the familiars. No longer, I mean, they have more uptime. They also have HP now instead of number of hits to destroy them. So in general, in most situations, they're going to be a lot tankier, even though you can use spells on them again. And then as far as actual uptime goes, there's shorter cooldowns on the drop. There's a shorter duration on the drop, so they come back up and they start attacking again sooner. All in all, the familiars are just much stronger than they used to be. And then the Gravekeeper's Cloak has been buffed quite a lot, so it's a lot harder to break it. You need minimum 50 damage. The hero itself is just going to be a lot more powerful in the new patch.
Yeah, it's really cool to see him come back. It's been a little while, but it's nice to have people cycling in and out of the meta. But now as well for the Wings Gaming, we do have a Nyx Assassin as the second pick, and nearly into a Life Stealer for Evil Geniuses. Always a...
Yeah, Lifesteal's like the kind of direct counter to the Nyx, at least as far as the laning stage go. Lifestealer wrecks Nyx Assassin. All you need is a little help early on, and then you get a CS advantage, you get phase boots. Once you have phase boots, Nyx is, like, he can't do anything. You can just straight out 1v1 him if you want.
God, that's some scary stuff. And I guess, I mean, is Nyx Assassin being played in a support, is that just so far outside of the meta that it's not even worth really thinking about?
It's not totally out of the meta, but I'd say mostly it's played in that core role, so I'd be surprised for support. It's doable, but you're also looking more at a full position support, and that's what Visage wants to be. So, to me, Visage with Nyx is not the most potent support duo.
All right. Well, we'll keep our eyes on that. Certainly a strong combination right off the bat. Drow Ranger hasn't been banned out either, so it might be something that Wings could go towards a little bit later on, but I don't know. We'll see if that's the option they go for. Weaver banned out as well as the Slardar. Not a great ton of surprises there. Based off of what the first initial picks are, is there anything that you're seeing as far as play style already in this draft, or is it still very open-ended?
I mean, for EG, it's really like very comfort picks for them. I mean, Lifestealer to me is one of our TZ's best heroes. He's played this tons in pubs. He's played in pro. I think EG, you're going to see like a lot of, I mean, there is straight up a lot of global ganking potential. They've got global presence coming from an IO +1. Lifesteal's going to be looking to kind of infest some kind of initiator, some kind of universe hero, and go around for infest bombs. You could even infest in the hero that's being tethered to for the relocates. So there's a lot of good just global presence coming out of EG's draft. They're going to be playing like pretty fight gank heavy, but Wings are also looking to meet them. They've got Nyx, they've got Visage, huge burst damage potential heroes. So I'd say both teams kind of looking. I think this is looking like a very different game to what we saw with DC and Newbie. DC Newbie was very like 5-man pushy, avoiding fights. This is more likely like, hey, let's go fight, let's run at each other.
Oh, I'm excited to hear that. You always love to see some sort of a couple of teams running into each other constantly throughout the mid game. Night Stalker is also going to be the ban. You know, you talk about that global potential. Does that mean that we might see an Underlord here? Has it been banned out? And is a possibility for EG, at least at this point?
Yeah, again, I guess it just comes down to whether the teams want to play. It just doesn't strike me as like an EG playstyle hero. It's a very five-man oriented pick. It does really good when you're death balling because it's the kind of hero that just picks up all those team aura items. You get the mech, you get the Crimson Guard, you get the pipe if you need it. So if you're doing like these five-man heavy push strats, like it's kind of reminiscent to me. It's like a new version of Tidehunter where you get all those team aura items, you have great team fight presence, but it doesn't move around the map all that well. I say that when he's got an ultimate that moves him anywhere on the map, but he doesn't. He doesn't move, like he's not mobile in the classic sense. Like he doesn't play a fast tempo of like ganking kind of Dota. Like he can move from one side of the map to the other with his ultimate, but it's like one of those things where it doesn't really. It's more used as a tool to like get your team out after a push, or just like it's used more in strategic ways rather than to play fast pace.
All right, I'm with you. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I like that, and I mean, it does feel like that's sort of you already have that with the IO too, so maybe it's a little bit of an overkill. Coddle is also going to be the pick, so a little bit of that hold back the push action as well as. I mean, it feels like it's a little bit scary playing against the Lifesteal. You just pop rage, run at the guy, and I mean, you could chomp up the old man.
Yeah, it's not ideal, not really a good hero at all against Lifestealer, but I imagine Wings have something in mind with the pick. It's Ice. Ice is like best hero maybe. He's the best Coddle player in the world in my mind. He plays such a good Keeper of the Light, and he's played a lot of games on the hero. So they've got something in mind maybe with the core heroes looking to use the recall to kind of have like some kind of split pushing carry that you can pull into fights. It kind of functions in a similar way to IO where you don't have to be grouped as 5 before a fight begins, but you can then bring in that missing carry using the recall, much like an IO +1 can relocate into a gank to join up with the rest of the team. But EG, Earth Spirit, we've seen this duo from them, the Earth Spirit with IO, so nothing too crazy or unexpected here. It seems like they're sticking to a lot of the same similarities from the previous patch.
I guess it also sort of functions as like an infest bomb for Lifestealer in the early stages. You get that level 6 up, and maybe you can roll in and take some people down. Since we do have the Earth Spirit this early, do Wings need to think about a mid that can get out? Is Mirana going to be good enough in that role?
Yeah, it should be pretty decent. Like as far as the role goes, you're not afraid of that. You're more afraid of once Earth Spirit gets higher level and he's got the stun and the silence to stop your escape mechanisms, but Mirana gets pretty tanky once you get the raindrops, you get a point booster. That's kind of like you'll have those items by the time Earth Spirit has the levels where he has got stun and silence. So Mirana's like just going to be a pretty stable mid that has good mobility, isn't worried about the Lifestealer ganks. If there's infest ganks coming in, like you say, it has to come from an Earth Spirit where there's a stun silence. Otherwise, Mirana can always leap away. But immediately, EG pick up Sumel's TA. I like the TA. We saw a bit of what you could maybe do out of a TA with Weeha playing it, how there's the Ancients right above that dire mid lane. You can farm those Ancients and then you pop the Shrine and farm, I think, incredibly fast. To me, this hero is a lot stronger just because of the map changes.
Yeah, that's something that we'll point out once we actually get into it, too, because it's always a little bit confusing getting your head around it, but it is a really cool set where they have it. And what we saw come out from Weeha there. The Tidehunter is now also going to get banned, so more of that team fight. They're worried about that ability to just run in and take an objective as well. Is there anything that you feel like either draft is particularly missing at this point? I think that we do have Wings that are going to be drafting next since there was that little bit of a bug, but I believe that they're the next one.
It is Wing. Yeah, it was first pick. No, it was first pick IO overall.
Oh, right,
EG had so EG have the next pick, and then Wings have the overall last pick. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the thing is still bugged out here. Oh
yeah.
My God.
Okay, there you go. You asked about the Underlord. I mean, the thing EG is missing is any kind of team fight. They have 4 heroes with... Okay, Earth Spirit has team fight, but the other 3 very lackluster and like the team fight, AoE control. Like they did not have a good hero to bring their lineup together. Underlord provides them some lockdown. He's a hero that can buy the mech for the team. Like, this is just a good kind of team-oriented fighting hero. Can buy a pipe probably this game against all the magic damage we're seeing from Wings. For Wings, they're missing the Shadow hero. They need some kind of DPS coming out. They can't just rely on the Mirana. Probably looking at some kind of physical DPS, Morphling type hero to kind of make their draft really work. Chaos Knight! Ooh, there we go. Something more Wings-like. Something fun, different.
Oh, I love it. I'm so excited for this draft. We got an Underlord Chaos Knight in here. Visage is hanging out. Everybody's coming to party. 7.00 is real. Gods, how are you feeling about these two drafts? Is there anything? Do you like one more than the other? I gotta say that Underlord Earth Spirit lineup scares the crap out of me.
I mean, I like Wings' draft just because they picked Chaos Knight. You know, it's it's so hard to like look at drafts now because of the new patch and the changes and say like, oh, I think that team won the draft. It's like until you actually see them unravel, who knows how they kind of are going to play out. With EG, it's again very comfort zone. They can win. EG's got the laning stage 1. Like they've got the potential to win the off lane with an Underlord Earth Spirit. The mid lane looks really good with the TA. The safe lane Lifestealer matches up very well against Nyx. To me, laning stage goes well for EG, and sometimes winning the lanes is all you need to win a game of Dota. So perhaps very slight edge to EG, but Wings they have crazy team fight. All kinds of AoE spells, nukes, burst damage. They've got magic damage coming out all over the place. So this will be a fun game.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, get yourself set up, get yourself a drink real quickly, some food, because we're in for a barn burner. I'm excited for this game, and it does look like the early warding is going to start taking place. I really like this ward. I've seen it a couple of times now on the Dire side. You get some great vision along all those gank paths up top.
Yeah, this is nice and going to help look to set up some pickoffs early on. We'll see if either team looks to contest any of the runes. Doesn't really look like it. It's kind of it's interesting because the way that with there being 4 bounty runes, teams are much more split up early on. You'll see just one hero going to secure like a bounty rune somewhere safe, and then the other 3 or 4 somewhere else on the map. With Wings, you've got like 2 heroes going for the top rune, 3 at bottom. EG's got this 4-1 split going on. Very, very kind of different openings now that there's 2 runes and they're on opposite sides of the map for your team. Well, 2 runes each.
Yeah. Well, and of course, everybody, if you're watching right now, there is no ticket for this game, so all of the names are going to be a little bit messed up, but I think we can get an idea of who most of these people are. It looks like Clint Eastwood, that's Sumail. I'm assuming that Chao P is going to be Zai. Got ourselves Crit on the Earth Spirit, I'm sure. Universe, Underlord. I'm not so sure about the Wing side, who everybody is.
I'll be Ice Ice playing Coddle. Nyx Assassin, Faith Beyond, okay. Shadows playing Chaos Knight. You've got Y or Innocence playing the Visage, so he's playing the 5-position Visage, and then mid, of course, is Blink.
Okay.
The Mirana.
Do our best to keep up with it, but how do you see this mid matchup going? I mean, these two players have a lot of history playing against each other. Do you think either has an advantage just given the heroes?
Yeah, it's a good matchup for TA, definitely. Mirana's going to be looking just to keep arrowing the range creeps wherever possible, and actually so far is going full on harass. There's no refraction. He's gone Psyblades. That is, if Mirana had like hit level 2 or something there, that could have been a straight up kill there. But now Sumail gets his level 2. Luckily, it's level 2 well before the Mirana. I think, yeah, thanks to hitting a couple denies, Mirana was a little bit under level there.
And pushing it to the limit. That is the name of the game right here for Sumail in this mid lane. And it gets him off to a nice start. Meanwhile, bottom lane, some more action going on. The Isle Underlord combo just going to punch Ice Ice in the face a few more times. Chao P dropping low. Can Zai get out of there? He is not going to die. Oh, man. Really good plays. They end up taking down the Coddle for first blood.
Yeah. Normally expect the Atrophy Aura, but he went for the Firestorm and said the roll coming now. Won't hit the roll, but it doesn't matter. They've got the kill anyways, yeah.
Oh my god, they just keep on the action. This is a scary tri-lane that we've got brewing down bottom. And in the meantime, I mean, you mentioned earlier the Nyx Assassin versus Lifestealer matchup. This is a fine 1v1. I mean, for Wings, what do they need to do in this situation?
Need to perhaps just like settle down, get a few more levels down bottom. They were the instigators of all that fighting going on down bottom. They committed to that one. Coddle was like, I'm going to die, but I'm going to make sure we get this first blood. They didn't actually get the first blood, so they need to kind of pick their moments a bit, wait till they get a few more levels. Chaos Knight hitting like level 3, level 4, getting a couple, like even levels on Keeper of the Light. But they don't want to mess around. They're ready to go again.
Oh my god.
Universe, he's going to salve. He's fine. A Trophy Aura is pretty handy.
That's really good stuff there. And, I mean, this does sort of signal to the mid lane. There might be something going on, Blink. And they ping out where they think the Earth Spirit is. Turns out that's where he is. And realizing that Underlord is alone, it might have the rotation back over towards this bot lane. So, heads-up play.
EG just, again, looking to prioritize winning the lane stage. They've got CS advantage at mid. Top, the 1v1 matchup is favorable. And they're doing a good job of pressuring and not straight up winning the bottom lane, but they did get the first blood, and Chaos Knight is not really getting the farm he would be hoping to get, given his lane.
This is great stuff. Also getting a couple of stacks out here in the jungle. Zai is making sure that that is continuing to happen, and should be able to help out in the mid lane for TA some more. Trying to bait this out, possibly. They are going to be able to go for the tether and refraction. Good leap away by Blink, though.
Yep. He gets out of there, Miranda now. I mean, you've got bottle, so you can kind of just keep bottle crowing as needed. Probably will have to take that approach. And Miranda can always kind of pop back in the jungle. One of the change where the big camp is actually nice and close to you kind of helps this Radiant side Miranda mid, since you don't have to fall as far back to actually get an arrow onto a big creep. So Miranda able to kind of use that to maintain decent farm, decent XP growth.
This is that area you were talking about where TA just fills up on the shrine, but later on you can take out those ancients as well, as you were mentioning. So good stuff. How you feel like at this point both teams are feeling in terms of their laning stage? I mean, it feels like EG was off to a start, but I mean, Radiant isn't CSing bad either. Yeah,
it's not really heavily favored either way. I mean, overall you see all 3 cores on Radiant getting farm, whereas only 2 of the 3 EG cores are getting much out of the laning stage. So I'd say Faith Beyond has done a really good job with his 1v1 as he swoops in and takes one of the big dark trolls. So he's got almost even CS with the Lifestealer. This has been a very good matchup for him so far. And this is what talk about Lifestealer being able to wreck this matchup in like a 1v1 sense, but typically you'll see like a support start up there, zone the Nyx, so Lifestealer can get like a level and a farm advantage on the Nyx. But this has been like a 1v1 from the get-go, which means the Nyx had a few more avenues to actually contest the lane, because it was straight up 1v1. It wasn't like that support helps and then roams around. So gone a bit differently for the Nyx assassin.
And down bottom, we keep on coming back to this lane. A couple of kills happened, but since then, it's basically just been a firestorm party. They are going to try and go now onto the Underlord. Stun connects onto 2 of them. A decent amount of damage, but it looks like crit being there will help keep alive that Underlord a bit longer.
He got a chakra, but he got the chakra after he used his 2 spells, so he didn't benefit from the cooldown reduction, which is normally what you want to look to kind of utilize the chakra. Not obviously Chaos Knight wants the mana, but if you had a shorter cooldown on his Chaos Bolt there, it could have perhaps gone for. He could have been perhaps get that kill.
Yeah.
Top lane though is where EG want to strike. They brought 3 heroes up. They're thinking they can get a kill.
And this is going to be a bit of a tough one with the creep lane pushing in under tower. Maybe if they wait it out, they can find something. But well, unless they want to dive, this feels like it might be a little bit tough. Roll in. Faith Beyond going to be slowed down. The Spike Carapace comes out. They do throw out the stun after it wears off, and well, I guess it wasn't that tough.
Hit the roll and pretty straightforward. Nyx without having the ulti doesn't really have a good escape. There's too much slow between the open wounds, the rolling boulder, and even the tether slow as well. So there's basically no escape from the slows when life still has phase boots. Even you can buy time with Carapace, but you're not going to save your life. So they get that kill, and Nyx probably just goes back to lane. He's level 6, so he could theoretically consider a gank, but it's one of those things where you want to get your arcane boots at a reasonable time when you're a Nyx assassin as well. You start ganking without the arcane boots, you gank once and it either works or it doesn't, and then you have to go back to Fountain to heal up.
Yeah, and I mean that is one instance where maybe you could think about the shrines, but yeah, it would really, if you can get away with it. It doesn't feel like he's being that pressured as long as he can spot some of those ganking heroes on the map. But in the meantime, Sumail is just kind of dominating this mid lane. Mirana really hasn't been able to step up to CS almost at all, and Visage is going to be taking over the lane.
Yeah, it's pretty nice so far. Mirana's not too far behind on net worth though, because she has been pseudo jungling using the big camp right by, so she's only actually 200-300 net worth behind the TA, even with the CS difference.
You also see the Firestorm going down here at this medium camp that they had been stacking the Earth Spirit and the Underlord. So going to get a nice little injection of gold there and possibly head back into lane afterwards. Who do you think the objectives are going to be over the next couple of minutes for these 2 teams? Is there anything that we might see pop off soon?
I mean, it looks like for now the 2 teams are looking just to utilize their jungles a bit better, which they weren't earlier on. TZ's just like, all right, I'm going to farm this little neutral stack, get up towards his armlet. You have the TA who just farmed an ancient, so they were jungling in like 3 different places. With the new jungle, there's so many different camps you can use, so it seems like, at least for EG, they're thinking, let's play the farming efficiency game. For Wings, you're probably more likely looking for some pickoffs. Get the Visages level 6, but also get like heroes like Nyx involved with Vendetta. Ideally, they want to start looking for some pick-offs in this game. Like, you don't pick Chaos Knight to farm, you pick Chaos Knight to play aggressive.
Oh, this was a pretty cool play. They actually, well, maybe it's going to end up backfiring. They pull in the Earth Spirit, but the Argo's going to decide to turn on him. They baited out one TP into the mid lane when TA went on the Visage, but not able to convert the kill on the CK. He's pretty big.
Yeah, so to get out there, perhaps fortunate that Earth Spirit got out of there. If that was a longer than 1 second stun, it may have been a kill on him. And Mirana will find a DD, get back into the jungle. Again, now this is where the TA pulls ahead on farm. The laning stage wasn't where she actually wins on farm, but once you get to that stage where you're just jungling as a TA, you flash farm very, very rapidly.
Now we're just going to head back to lane, push it out afterwards, and all kinds of fine and dandy. Oh, messed up the Meld Strike a little bit there, but no big deal.
So it looks like a smoke coming out from me. They had Arteezy TP to the shrine, but the TP was spot. There was a Radiant Observer Ward, so they saw the TP from Lifestealer, which is kind of a giveaway. Like, you don't expect Lifestealer to TP down there if he doesn't have some kind of plan in mind, but even so, Chaos Knight has not fully backed off.
Oh, they didn't get the Infest inside, but it shouldn't end up mattering. Chaos Knight very rapidly dead, and if they didn't spot it before, they know he's down here now.
Yeah, kind of interesting that gank works, even though they see the Lifestealer TP. Obviously, they don't see the rest. They just saw the Lifestealer TP in. They think he's either jungling or just swapping his lane, but EG make sure they bring numbers to get that kill. From behind comes Faith Beyond, though.
This is a little bit of a setup here. They do have the Soul Assumption, can throw it out, but Visage almost already dead, and, well, Ice is in a ton of trouble as well. They have the DD on Mirana, trying to bring down one. They are able to bring down the IO, but I think that with this Dark Rift, they're just going to be able to get out of here. Yeah, just a nice little jump away, and making sure they don't lose anything more than they have to.
Yeah. They get aggressive, they dive, they get their kills, and they get out pretty secure. I mean, IO doesn't get out, but you're okay losing the IO there. Sumail's not even coming in for that one. That's like a 5-man Wings commitment towards that bottom lane, while EG win the fight with 4 heroes. They've got a TA farming elsewhere on the map. That's easily a win for the Evil Geniuses squad, who will just fall back after that, wait for their next move. They've got Arteezy TPing top, so he's not ready to fight right away, but once he's got another TP, he may look to join up with his team again or look to infest in 60 seconds. He's going to be ready to go in another minute or so for another move like that if he wants to.
And here, mid, arrow connects. All right, he's in, end up going down. They find the kill onto Sumail. Nice little combination there, Faith Beyond and Blink, making it work.
Yeah, it was a good arrow, and that's what Wings need. They need to find those pickoffs. They've got 2 very kill and gank-oriented core heroes in Nyx and Chaos Knight. Mirana's like the one core that kind of is happy just to play a farming game, but Carapace into an arrow.
Good plays. Universe going to be in some trouble. They're making use of all of their abilities, and they find the kill. Rolling Boulder a little bit off the mark. Can they get out of here, though? It looks like the rest of the side of Wings chasing after them. Zai very low. Are they going to get the kill? The birds are on top of them. They do find it, and, well, Crit just trying to make something of it, but it's not going to happen. Teasy, the only one left alive in that mid lane shuffle, and, well, there jumps in the Sumail TA. I don't know if it's going to be enough damage. He just might go down as well. Phantasm comes out, chasing down Arteezy as well. Is he going to make it out of here? He think he will, but my God, that went terrible for EG.
Oh, that was, the way they start that fight with the Carapace and the arrow was just, it was really nice. Like, that was something that Universe just wasn't really expecting. He's thinking, oh, I just throw my AoE spells, I defend the tower. And then suddenly, okay, you expect to probably get Carapace there, but you don't expect the Mirana to be in a position to immediately hit an arrow after it. And then with the Arcane Rune, all those short cooldowns of Mirana meant there was Starstorms being spammed out. She didn't have mana problems. That Arcane Rune was, like, not game-winning, but it won them that fight, team fight winning. Sets Wings up into a much better position as suddenly Blink goes from being like behind by about 1,000 net worth of the TA to being ahead by about 500. That's a huge swing just based off one team fight.
And we're starting to get into those talents too, which allow you to get that snowball even further than it would have been otherwise. So, you know, winning a big team fight here in the mid game, I mean, do you still carry over the lead from that early laning stage that EG had, or is that kind of evaporated at this point?
Momentum-wise, it's evaporated, but I think overall EG's draft is still in a good spot, but Wings have to keep finding kills, and that's exactly what they'll do.
Oh, man, try to get Crit out of there. Faith Beyond is making work happen and is going to get the Spike Carapace, but Arteezy on top of him, the right click's coming through. Is it going to be enough to get the kill? They do have a Pit of Malice that's going to be able to contain, and then they bring down that Nyx Assassin. This might just peter out at this point, unless... Do Wings want to go back in on this? Reality Rift?
You know, probably do. They're probably thinking, like, let's fight. That's what our lineup does. Let's just run at them, see what happens. Chaos Knight's got 17 magic wand charges and almost has a completed armlet, so he's thinking, let's get back in there. But he is behind on farm. He's sitting on 4.4k net worth. This is not a hero you expect to be farming ridiculously well, but it is always going to be a concern when you are sitting kind of behind on farm and you haven't found the kills for your team.
Well, 13 minutes into this game, and it's been very back and forth so far. 16 kills, and kind of what we were expecting based on the draft. Faith Beyond again looking for a pickoff here. I mean, can he kill somebody solo, or is this just sort of a scouting mission to get eyes on EG?
More a scouting mission for now. He's not got any follow-up too nearby. The familiars are coming in though, so could kill a support, but can't really kill the cause too easily. But he's kind of in that position where it's like, okay, I'm going to scout out for information to let us know if we can take this tower or not. And he sees no one, which means basically this bottom tier 1 is undefended, and Wings safely will take a free tier 1 tower.
Nice little combination of plays there. And I mean, you do have CK over here in the top lane just sort of hanging out, so if they wanted to come up and defend their own tier 1 tower in the top lane, there's certainly a possibility for it. Mass TPs could come in.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
The Chaos Knight's probably making that call, like he wants to defend. He's not sitting up here just to idly wait for the creep wave to come in, but as the Wings captain, you're thinking, well, do we want to defend or can we find a trade? Can we actually go for this tier 2 at bottom? But very hard to push into the Firestorm, and seems like Wings want to at least linger around this bottom lane. The Nyx is probably thinking he might be able to find another kill, and Chaos Knight will be, for the most part, left alone at this top lane. Feeling like the Chaos Knight's a bit underleveled. He's only level 9 at this stage. Does find a bounty rune there, which helps a little bit, but he's not doing anywhere near as well. I mean, TA's level 13, Lifestealer's level 12. He is, like, you look at the cause, and he's the one that stands out because he is getting very, very little right now.
Maybe a little bit of trouble with that early laning stage that we talked about. And, you know, you talked about Wings draft wanting to run at EG, and it feels like they're sort of denying them that at this point. They're making sure that they're a little bit more spread out until they can get those next set of items up. And speaking of which, do you think that there's a point where EG start feeling more comfortable fighting? What might that be?
Most likely, like around like TA's Deso, and well, they've got the mech, but yeah, the TA Deso is where they get that burst damage potential. So TA's wants to keep on farming, but the other heroes, they're happy to fight. That's a great infest gank.
Really nicely played. Too quick and easy for them. Blink just very far forward, and well, you talk about Deso, TA really close to it at this point. The mechanism's online. This could be a bit of a bloodbath. Well, Faith Beyond walks in. They already dropped the dust, so are going to be able to catch eyes onto him. Over here to the side, Arteezy going to jump forward, Melt Strike forward. They have the Phantasm already brought down once. That's a dead Visage in the midst of all of this. Also turning, CK is dropping really low. Another reapplication of Magnetize, but Armlet toggling, trying to stay alive. 3 second stun. Can they bring him down? No, not going to happen, man. Sumail is seeing blood. Wants to take down some more, but 3 already dead. It's been a great fight for EG.
That was ambitious trying to fight without the Mirana, your most farmed hero in the game. They're fighting with an under-farmed Chaos Knight who's really low level. That was just recipe for disaster. They got punished for it. That was not the ideal way to take a fight. They almost killed the IO at the start. The Visage did a lot of single target burst damage, and Nyx just didn't feel safe in throwing out the Impale. Was too worried about missing it, so kind of held on to it. But in the end, it's Wings who get beaten back. They don't lose their tier 1 mid tower, but what they do lose is a pretty important fight at this stage of the game, considering EG aren't even at like their key item timings just yet. The Desolator is being bought now, so next fight there's going to be a Deso TA. I mean, this Chaos Knight is just feeling like he's irrelevant. I mean, I hate to keep harping onto him, but you just see that net worth and you're thinking, wait, this is a 1-position Chaos Knight? That's not happening.
That's a very tough one indeed. And a hero that's just notorious for having trouble catching up in farms. So it feels like they almost have to fight their way out of it, but you also have that internal timer of, you know, Phantasm needing to be up for you to take those fights really effectively. So we'll see if EG can take advantage of this. Do you think from their point of view, it's just keep on trying to run down the towers now?
Yeah, they push really fast with the Rage Lifesteal and the Desolator on the EG side, so they're going to be looking to take towers where possible. Not really a tower that can be defended, and we'll get to 9. Nice play by Blink.
Faith Beyond, they also are going to be there, revealing him with the Pit of Malice. The rock goes through, but in the midst of all of it, Kike is just dead yet again. And, well, can they bring down the Underlord? It doesn't look like he's going to go down as of yet. Soul Assumption, not enough damage. So they just lose the CK yet again for Wings.
It's kind of felt like Wings are trying to fight around that shrine there so they can get that healing, but EG's like, no, your other heroes aren't getting there.
Oh my god, the big stun coming through. Faith Beyond coming in spades, and, well, Arteezy's just going to infest an H and try and make his escape. Can they actually bring it down? I don't know if it's going to happen. Pit of Malice connects onto several. Firestorm follow-up as well, but they have controlled the lifestealer now, starting to bring him low. Io is there trying to keep his buddy alive, and it does look like he's going to be able to rage TP away. They might be able to bring down Zai off the back of this, so he is going to pay for his helping out his carry. Well worth it, though.
Yeah, he straight up saves Arteezy's life there. He gave Arteezy the mana that he needed to actually get the rage off, so some selfless play coming out from Zai, but some much needed selfless play. Faith Beyond, he's a ballsy off-lane play. He's those crazy aggressive ones. He's on 200 HP. He says, fine, let's go hunting. Let's go scouting for my team. Finds Universe at bottom lane, isn't gonna initiate on him or anything. He's actually swooping mid. Oh no, he's still looking. I mean, this is just insane. Like, the fact he's going for a kill on 200 HP, very few offlaners would want to do this.
They are going to be able to bring down Ice over by the Dire Shrine, but they might actually be able to make this kill happen. Faith Beyond so low. Talk about crazy. Soul Assumption out. Right clicks are coming through. Can they get it? It does not look like they're going to be able to. 23 HP. What a hero.
Didn't have the stone form. The stone form was like 2 seconds off before it was coming up when they initiated. Maybe if it like microed the bird's chase while he waited for it to come up, could have got that kill. But while they're messing around at bottom with the Nyx and the Visage, EG, they take Roshan, get an Aegis on TA, so they're kind of in a position. They're getting the bigger objectives there. Even if Universe dies, like that doesn't hurt EG's off game plan. For their game, they want to be able to just take things like Roshan, get their BKBs up, or single BKB on the TA, and then just go take the fight to Wings. They'll be pretty ready to go at that point. Keep finding pickoffs. Their initiation with the Earth Spirit roll, with the silence and the infest gank is really difficult for heroes like Mirana to deal with.
Oh, and a 20-minute Guardian Greaves comes up as well for the Underlord. So a big smoke gank in towards the Dire Shrine. They're going to try and go for the wraparound here, and will have eyes on it. All right, they spot out that the Lifestealer's inside of the Earth Spirit, and, well, there's the jump out, the catch. A lot of damage coming out. Arteezy left alone, and they aren't going to be able to find this kill with the Rage TP. Reactions heading out of there.
Yeah. That's one of those scenarios where both teams are thinking, like, okay, we want to be the ones getting the jump because that's how we win a fight. If that infested Earth Spirit finds someone like a Mirana, kills a Mirana, e.g. win a fight, take an objective. But Wings were the ones just making the move first, getting the info, and finding the kill. And they get rewarded with a tower. So finding a kill is kind of like both teams are doing a really good job of turning it into these kills and objectives.
Oh man, there was the jump forward coming out from Sumail. They're going to throw it in a Pale, connects onto one. Not sure if it's going to end up being enough, but it is going to be a nice little relocate, pulling back out the TA. Fine for the moment. They have been able to bring down the Visage already, so Underlord continuing to do work. And this might even end up being the birds too.
Yeah, well, at least one of them's going down, and with the Desolator there. Feeling a little bit squishy right now, so we'll lose both. Nicely played by EG, reacting well, using the relocate just to get Sumail in a better position. And now they ulti bottom, using that mobility from the Underlord. That will get them at least one objective, possibly even two if they really want to try and force things with the Aegis.
That was really cool stuff. This is one of the things that you gotta love about the ulti, because you have so much mobility here. I mean, relocate ganks, and then on top of that, the Dark Rift movement for initiation. Really cool stuff. And as you mentioned, moving in for this Tier 2 tower, infested up Earth Spirit. Is this fight going to be okay for Wings, or could this end up looking really bad?
I don't see it going too well for them, but we'll see. If they can find the Wisp, it goes well, but it's Arteezy finding them.
Stun onto two, and, well, Earth Spirit in maybe a little bit of trouble, but I think it's going well enough into the favor of EG. Off to the side, they are going to be able to TP out with at least one, but taking down the Visage, soon to happen. They are going to go for the Reality Rift. It doesn't look like it's enough. CK is just not hitting hard enough now, starting to bring him low, and he is going to die. And again, the birds go down. 115 seconds with no birds. EG are just rolling Wings here.
Yeah, EG doing a lot of really nice moves, taking towers, using the Underlord Dark Rift to get into an even better position there. And they're on the high ground with a Desolator. Wings need to try and delay things here. Just throw impales, the arrow won't actually land, and towers getting very low.
God, this is feeling so rough right now if you're Wings. I mean, there's ways in which you can take the fight, but I mean, if you're getting pressured this heavily, 23 minutes into it, and already your tier 3 tower down to about half HP, this is feeling rather rugged. What do you think they need to do to get back into it? Is it just a matter of trying to fight your way out of it?
Yeah, they're going to find some high priority kills. They need to not fight EG when there is a 5-man unit. Fighting into the EG 5-man unit is just a disaster because the IO is just sitting behind whoever you focus on. And the problem is there's a lot of single target focus. Like the Nyx, he goes on one hero. Like it's very clear who Wings are going on when the fight starts. And all Zai has to do is make sure he relocates, saves that target, be it the Life Stealer or the TA, get them back to safety, and then the fight's very easily won for EG because Wings have to commit so many spells to go on that first hero. So ideally for Wings, you got to find some ganks and find heroes who are split apart. That's what they found at top, but it ain't going so well for them.
Yeah, well, they might be able to turn this back around, although I think that EG realize what's going on now, Manly, because they're blinding light as well. They're going to push him back into the nuke, and that will be a quick and easy kill. And maybe going to be able to find a bit more here. Chaos Knight, if he gets a long duration stun on this IO, could be worth it. Rest of his team is grouping up. 2 seconds is all that he got. There is going to be an arrow follow-up, not quite on point. And maybe now with the mana leak, it could be enough. They do throw out another one of those Pit of Malices, and it's trying to push around the IO. Going to be able to maybe find the kill. TA jumps forward. It is already a Ghost Scepter on Mirana, so be able to keep her alive a little bit longer. They're bringing in Faith Beyond. Goes for the Impale, a little bit off the mark, but it's still going to be able to get the stun after the pushback that comes out from Coddle. And Clint Eastwood, can they actually get this kill? I don't know if it's going to be able to happen. You still have so much sustainability. Dark Rift coming in, and it's starting to look bad. If they can survive long enough, they all get out. Only one to go down is Lifestealer.
Yeah, the very last second Lifestealer died. That was such a good Dark Rift. Universe is just like, guys, this fight ain't going so well for us. Like, we got the kills, but we're all super low. Let's just get the hell out of here. And everyone almost gets saved there in the end. It was a tough fight for, like, Wings. You could kind of see, like, they could have killed the IO, but Nyx Assassin was like, well, I could throw the Impale, kill the IO, but then I lose my Mirana. He threw the Impale to save the Mirana. He stunned up Sumail's TA, which was definitely the right play, but as a result, the IO stayed alive way too long and didn't even end up dying. Somehow, Zai survived through it all. Oh.
That's some solid play right there. Positioning's on point. Something I just noticed as well, we got Coddle with an Aghanim Scepter already up at this point. They've been able to get a good amount of farm on these cores, and I mean even supports on the side of Wings, so it's one way in which they can continue to sort of sustain throughout the fight.
Coddle with the CK illusions could be pretty sick with the AoE heal onto all those illusions. Definitely something to kind of respect in these upcoming fights. We'll see what Chaos Knight looks to do. He's still struggling quite a bit in terms of overall farm, but he's getting tanky. He's up to 2k HP almost, and that's without the armlet turned off, so gonna have an SMY soon, and almost caught the Nyx Assassin there. Nice blink away from Faith Beyond. He was on top of a sentry ward and barely got away.
Good recognition. And he pings out now. This is not a safe place to be any longer. But as this game goes on longer and longer, do you feel like EG has a pretty substantially better late game, or do you think it's relatively even?
I've been looking at this.
Faith Beyond's just
that's
dead.
a kill. Yeah, that's indeed a thing. It's kind of felt like very EG favored for quite a while, but that's just like they're very top heavy, and that's I think where it's been perhaps a bit misleading as to how big EG's lead is. It's not as big as I imagine, given that they've got two very underfarmed supports, and what Wings have is a Coddle with an Ags. They've got good farm, like alright farm on a Visage, who's got Ghost Scepter and is working towards an Ag Scepter. So Wings have kind of spread their farm a bit more. Like Chaos Knight hasn't been able to farm, but all that thought is Arteezy gets found here, but he'll rage it off. So yeah, Wings don't have that top heavy farmers like with a true like carry, but they've got great farm distribution.
See if they can make use of that farm distribution. The problem at the end of the day, though, is that those top-heavy farmers for EG are hitting the towers pretty hard, and they're going down across the map. Only one tier 2 left.
I mean, typically, like, you think your lineup composition, you want to have those carries who are in the front lines with all the farm, and then the supports who don't need farm, but they just benefit from levels and being alive in the fight. That's what Io and Earthspirit are. Yeah, these heroes are more bottom two of the net worth, but they can have a big impact in the fight without items.
Big stun and a silence coming out, going to catch on to Ice Ice. Oh man, Faith Beyond is just gone as well. No way to save him at all. And God, you lose those two heroes like that, a lot of your high ground offense is now sort of gone.
Yeah, and EG could, in theory, have gone bottom lane there, but it looks like they'll wait for the creep wave to catch up. Well, actually, the creep wave's not yet. Now they ping bottom. That's to say, they've got 30 seconds with no buybacks. They don't know the buyback status, but they should be at least thinking, let's force those buybacks. Put Lifesteal on the high ground with Rage. He's not in any danger. We've got a relocate save. Let's try and force a response.
Oh, arrow connects. Okay, onto Arteezy. 4-second stun, point him back in. The 4-step out's going to keep him alive for the moment. Turns and rages. Oh, good plays by the supports, keeping his buddy alive. But now you do have the Phantasm coming out. Jumps inside of Sumail, and that will keep Arteezy alive. His rage was wearing off, and it was looking a little bit scary for a moment. But well, good
Somehow
play by
they
EG.
they almost kill Arteezy in a 3v5 scenario. A really nice arrow caught Arteezy by surprise, because Arteezy's thinking like, okay, I'm just going to hit the tower and I'll rage. If CK throws stun, you rage to dodge it, but he wasn't expecting the arrow. The arrow caught him by surprise, which meant he didn't dodge the CK stun because he was already stunned, and that was like 6 seconds of chain stun between the arrow into the CK stun that almost brought him down. But Wings hold their high ground. That really looked like it could just be a melee Rax taken. If EG didn't get chain, if Arteezy doesn't get chain stun there, that may have been a Rax.
Well, nighttime now as well, and makes things a little bit harder for Wings. They side of EG did spot all of that movement in towards mid, but doesn't look like they want to try and go for too much more right now. Roshan, we don't have the timer anymore, unfortunately, but a feeling that's probably relatively soon. We'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll find out soon enough. They've got the trap. They'll know as soon as it respawns, so they'll likely make that beeline towards the pit when it's up. We'll see Diffusal coming down soon. I was wondering if that was going to be an item they got sooner. Just all these Ghost Scepters are very annoying. We're seeing supports save their lives with Ghost Scepters. Coddle's got one in as quick buy, so Nyx has often... They normally kill the Nyx, but it just takes that extra like couple of seconds but when he pops the Ghost to actually bring him down.
Trying to keep my eyes also on all of these new talent upgrades, see if there's anything that really is super interesting coming out. A little bit of lag, but should be fine.
TA gets plus 250 health instead of plus 40 damage. I have no idea what's better. I trust Sumail there. You think TA, you think, oh yeah, you get the damage, but get some health. Why not? Tank up. One of those things where it's like both are good, so it's like hard to say which is definitely the right one to go for. I think at level 25 you definitely get the +3 refraction instances. Minus 30 second respawn it's like decent, but it's one of those things where normally you're thinking late game when you're level 25, and that's where having extra refraction is just going to be so good, and respawn time already is 100 seconds, so getting it down to 70 isn't like a game-changing kind of thing, whereas refraction could be.
Absolutely. Well, and I mean, also sort of slowing. You can think about buybacks and stuff, but yeah, you want to win the fight. You don't want to have to think about how to not lose the fight as hard. Well, rolling boulder away. Oh, good impale connection. That will take down Crit. And well, they got the Pit of Malice, but actually the pushback hits him onto the high ground. Unfortunately, this is Underlord, and the hero is silly, so he's just gone. But Zai didn't get brought back in with it, so he's going to be brought down. A little bit of kerfuffle going on, and well, they lose too.
Yeah, that's what Wings need, is these pickoffs, and they're doing this in nighttime. They don't have that Coddle Vision, and soon it's going to be day again. They'll have Coddle Vision. They may be thinking about investing in a gem soon if they want, just to get map control deal. I mean, EG have a lot of great vision up on the map right now. They've also got TA traps that you theoretically want to be dewarding, and we'll see how this game progresses. The Ethereal Blade on Mirana could be a big item, and they've chain stun TA mid, but damage not quite there. His BKB's on cooldown. He couldn't BKB, it was muted. He was muted because he took it out of the backpack.
Oh no! And well, he gets the BKB on the comeback, so that's something at least. And Turns just destroys Ice Ice. Looking for a follow-up now onto Mirana. They are on top of the CK as well. He's route to the spot. The Impale is going to connect onto several, but still not enough to save his buddy. And well, the stun comes out as well now onto Faith Beyond. Right clicks are there, and guess what? A whole hell of a lot of balls in his face also are going to take down that Nyx assassin. So 3 dead, 4 wings, and it looks like EG are looking mid again.
Watching games is just like, I'm like, what's going on with these items? Like, I see a BKB in his items, I'm like, why is that BKB gray? I'm like, oh, he got it out of his backpack, but he had it on the respawn at least, so by that time it had come back online, and Wings, they're in some trouble here. The buybacks may be enough to save the melee racks for now, but it's still gonna hit their economy pretty hard.
Oh, what a force staff there, keeping his friend alive. Actually, was that himself? No, able to get away, and well, the Impale gonna connect onto 2. Iowa's there as well. They might be able to keep alive that Pixel Underlord. They jump forward onto several. Stun going to connect, and silencing up 2 is anybody else can be able to live. I mean, Faith Beyond is already gone. Phantasm comes out, trying to bring down Arteezy, taking a lot of damage, but another stun comes through. Crit is making the plays for his team here, and now CK out of mana, out of time, and dead on the ground. They're also going to get, well, nice Ghost Scepter, the Fusel Blading off that Ghost Scepter from Visage. He is dead. You know, EG are looking mighty hard to stop.
Talk all you want about talents, no one's even going to get to level 25 at this rate with how well EG have done in that last minute or so to win a fight. The Aegis of Sumail just buying time for his team to get there. They win the fight at mid. They then use their numbers advantage. They start that fight where CK is still dead. CK wasn't even alive when it broke out. He didn't really get any opportunity to use his ultimate to great effect, and EG just overrun Wings, take multiple lanes of racks, and pretty much come close to securing game 1. It would take something big out of Wings at this stage to win this game. Chaos Knight is just not a comeback kind of carry hero in general. It's the Mirana who's maybe the hero more suited to keeping the lanes pushed out and turning a game like this around. But you're talking about a Mirana against a TA, against a lifesteal, against multiple scaling heroes. There's a Underlord who's got all these teamfight items now with Lotus Orb and Pipe. The farm on EG is just kind of getting out of control with the Rax money they just brought in.
Another little piece of the puzzle that we hadn't talked about a ton is that giving these shrines in the base, taking them out, gives you an extra 150 gold just like the ones outside of the base. So, you know, if they wanted to stick around, you're able to get a ton of extra farm. And now, like, the wards up on the high ground, this next push is just going to be so much more difficult for Wings to stop. As far as sort of, last time you said that Newbie was a better play style up against what DC was throwing their way. How do you feel like the two play styles are contrasting in this game? Is it more of that or individual play that's separating these two teams?
Mirana's been caught. We'll just hold on a second. Keep you out.
Oh,
that was close. Had the defusal. I don't know if he maybe misclicked the defusal because he didn't purge off the ethereal blade. I couldn't. There was like 4 heroes on top of each other. It was kind of unclear exactly what happened to me at least. But I mean, for EG Wings, I think they don't have like a set playstyle as much as some other teams do. EG will pick heroes and look to counter their opponents more than other teams, and Wings, they're just Wings. You know, they do some crazy stuff every now and then. They seem to be like not in the top TI form they were in, obviously but the form they were in a TI over the last couple of months. Like it was like a decent run at the Canada tournament. They weren't as dominant at the summit though. Their major result, obviously, losing in the first round, albeit to EG, was not the result they were looking for. Also, just the way they played wasn't too convincing. So it does feel like overall EG should be the team with a small advantage here.
Well, and it's coming to fruition here for them as you still have a lot of net worth on these heroes, but it's feeling more and more difficult to imagine Wings able to come back in this one. I mean, a 25,000 net worth lead at this point in the game is really rough, and it looks like they are just going to go in there, finish off these shrines, get some more gold, and now go for the killing blow.
I'll take one out. I think there was even a ping on the other one, but I mean, it's that other shrine's off in the middle of nowhere. It doesn't really matter.
Oh my god.
Kill it or not right now.
They're all under a ward as well, so the jump forward, explosion of damage, but a couple caught now, and the Pit of Malice is just doing work. A little bit of Kale never hurt anybody. Ice is going to drop to Sumail there as they chase him down, and it looks like they're going to be able to take down a couple more. Visage gone. CK never stood a chance. He's going to drop as well. 4 dead, and GG gets called. Yeah, that's about all she wrote.
That was pretty brutal stuff. EG just using the map better. Like they out of the lane, like they win the laning stage, and then they just get a decent farm advantage. Never really let the Chaos Knight do all too much this game. They contested his lane really hard, which I think Chaos Knight's one of those heroes where if your lane's contested, you have to win it by getting kills, and he wasn't. I mean, Underlord to me is like just a great almost counter to the Chaos Knight in some ways. So picking that Chaos Knight last into Underlord really was a bit of a struggle for Chaos Knight.
Well, see if, I mean, I guess that the idea there was just to try and like have a strong lane or something. It was there anything in the Wings draft that you felt like they were trying to accomplish but got kind of countered heavily?
Yeah, I think like you just say, have a strong lane. Coddle Chaos Knight with Visage is like on paper a ridiculously powerful tri-lane. It is a ridiculously powerful tri-lane. They have massive burst damage potential, but they kind of misplayed the lane. They gave up that early kill. When they went on the Underlord, Coddle died, and they didn't even kill the Underlord. So bottom lane was played poorly by Wings, and also perhaps they just didn't win the lane as high as they would have thought because of just Underlord as a hero being very, very strong in those scenarios. This is a hero that wants to be in a 2v3 lane. Also having the IO there just to help him out as well. So I think EG played that off. The off lane of EG was where the game was kind of won, at least in the early game.
All right, well, we'll see if in the next game the Wings Gaming can shore up their safe lane to deal with whatever evil geniuses decide to throw down there. Maybe we'll see an Underlord ban. To me, that hero just seems so strong. But stick around, everybody. More great action to come. Game 2 of the Wings Gaming facing off against evil geniuses for the China top LAN. And stay tuned. It's going to be some more great action. See you guys in a bit.